Soul Free with Harlan Freeman, your home for sneakers and culture, starts in 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Hey, it's Harlan from Soul Free here on the Donna Drake Show, and we are Brooklyn Film Camera for Rick DeMint's 20-year retrospect, Polaroids, 20 years of celebrity Polaroid pictures, and we're bringing it to you now. Hey, what's going on? It's Harlan here for Soul Free, your home for sneakers and street culture on the Soul Free Radio Network. We'd like to thank our sponsors for making this show happen. We've got our dear friends of Porsche of Huntington, Optics. We got a few other people too, Notorious Pink, and our dear friends over at London Jewelers and Hugo Boss. Thank you guys so much. Check us out on Instagram at The Official Harlan. And now we get to have some fun. All right, it's been a minute since we've been live with you guys. Tonight we are at Brooklyn Film Camera. It's literally the dreamland of camera world. It's the hub for New York City, especially if you're into Polaroids. And there's an artist that we all love. We met at the Tribeca Festival this year. Yeah. You might know him by his Instagram handle of Polaroid. We're with the one and only Rick DeMint, my brother. How you feeling?
Feeling great. This is a lot of fun. It's celebrating the 20th anniversary of when I started shooting these Polaroid portraits.
Yeah, just for people who aren't familiar, I think your medium is unbelievable. Just explain to people what you do.
So it's I take Polaroids of primarily celebrities, and then ask them to sign it, and then have just been doing this consistently for 20 years, and so have built up a catalog of essentially the history of pop culture over the last couple decades.
It's unbelievable. Just looking at the wall here, looking at what you have going on. I mean, from RZA to Barack Obama and everybody in between. Yeah. It is a lot of fun, and I got to tell you, watching you in action. There's other photographers. There's other paparazzi. The warmth and love you're greeted with when the celebrities see you pull out a Polaroid and just take a simple picture. What's that interaction like?
That's sort of the magic of the whole thing, really, because people want. They relate. They see something that either they had in their childhood or just something unique, something different than just someone jumping out with a standard camera, and it makes them pause, and then they lighten up, and then you catch a shot you might not have caught otherwise. They'll come to you. They'll their eyes brighten, and as you said, you witnessed it when we were at the Tribeca Festival next to each other. Someone would just it takes them aback, and then there's a lot of love for it, which is great.
Yeah, it literally takes them back to their childhood. Yeah. And it's the same thing with sneakers. Now I know tonight you have a very special pair of Dunks on. If you want to share with the good people what's on your feet.
I've got the Polaroid Dunks on, which is such a limited edition. I when I saw these announced, I just had to do anything I could to get them, and I went to a skate shop. I entered their lottery, and I won, which was amazing. It was incredible. And then so I was able to buy these, and I only break them out for special events. So I thought tonight's my special event. I did wear them, I think, to one day at Tribeca, but typically, I want to keep them fresh.
I feel like you having these sneakers is like when Rudy got the Notre Dame jacket in the movie. Like you were born to wear these sneakers. Yeah. So for you, growing up, was it sneakers or Polaroid first?
I think it was Polaroid first. It wasn't really much of a. I know your show is a sneaker culture. It was more cameras and things like that, and pop culture, just following films and TV and music, and so just had a natural love for that comedy, and so my main goal was just find a way to meet the people that I appreciate. But with the sneaker culture, early on I had one of the first pairs of Air Jordans, and it's oh, it's so cool, and then but it was never a collection, which is unfortunate, for this show, but in general, these are kind of my special ones that I break out when I get a chance.
Well, that's a Grail shoe you got on. That's a very special dunk.
Yeah.
Now, going through 20 years of doing this,
yes.
I know every photo has a story behind it.
True.
But if you had to share one story of one picture in particular, I know I'm putting you on the spot right now because there's
really putting me on the spot. Because every picture has a story, which is really difficult now that you got me. I'm trying to look here on the wall. I tell this story all the time about the Barack Obama picture.
Yeah.
2006.
By the way, if you're gonna drop a name on our feet,
Yeah.
dropping the Barack is like, I mean, you just
Sure.
my feet are broken.
All right.
That's amazing.
Good.
I love it. I love it.
So Barack Obama, this was before he announced he was running for president.
Oh, wow.
He was coming around doing a book signing. I showed up to the book signing. There were 5,000 people in line.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, fine, I'm getting in the back of the line. After about 3,000 people, they said, none of you are getting in.
Right.
So I just said, well, I'm going to stick around just in case. Everyone gave up. I ended up being the last person in the room. They weren't allowing photos in the room. But because I was the last person in the room, I happened to be there at the same time he was leaving and was able to snap a shot as he was walking by, like shaking people's hands. So it's a little bit of a three-quarter view. And then I held it out, asked him to sign it, boom, signed it.
Wow.
And then a few weeks later, he announced he's running for president, and then it's, been great since then.
Just from like even a collection. First of all of your Polaroids are one of one.
Yes.
And you see people collect different autograph memorabilia, this and that, but every item you have is one of one.
Yeah.
This is such a special collection.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think so as well. And that's sort of what's great about it,
Yeah.
is because it is unique, and because it takes a while for the photo to develop, you don't even know if it's going to turn out. There'll be photos that you take, and then the person's eyes are closed. You're like, oh no,
Yeah.
Or they looked away, or they started saying something right when you took it, and then when it develops, you're like, oh, this is, it's still a memory that you have, but it's also a little bit disappointing. But then it becomes a new mission. Like, all right, I need to get an updated, better picture of this person. But for the most part, the pictures turn out great, and just you get surprised sometimes. Like you called out the Martin Scorsese picture here.
Yep.
He was at a screening down at Metrograph here in New York, and he came out and he was signing some autographs for some fans, posters and things like that. And he saw my camera and just, like we talked about earlier, he lit up. He perked up, and the shot just turned out amazing. And he was happy to sign it. And so that was just last year. But it's just one of those that everything just got lucky. And same thing with the Matthew McConaughey shot, which I was talking to you before we started the interview, that this was a last-minute addition to my collection. And he was doing an event at the Empire State Building. I got on the press list, so I was literally there were 10 of us for press, and so just had individual time. Boom, let me take a shot. It was a one and done, just like you said, and it just turned out like a magazine cover the way that it turned out.
And I do have to ask you about one.
Okay,
As
absolutely.
you know, I'm a monster Beastie Boys fan.
Yes.
I mean, they made it cool to be a Jewish geek when I was younger, and I've stuck with them my entire life.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, MCA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a perfect picture of him. Just can you share the story behind that one?
Yeah, definitely. So Beastie Boys were doing a concert in Denver. I lived in Colorado at the time. This was August 2007. I've got these all dated so you can know when it actually happened. And so I was going to the concert, but I happened to be on a bus going through the downtown area, like the walking area of Denver. And I looked out the window and I saw Ad Rock and MCA walking down the street. And so I jumped off the bus to the next stop, turned around, went over and talked to them and said, hey, do you mind if I take some couple pictures? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And then they started asking me all kinds of questions like, okay, who else do you have pictures of? How long have you been doing this? Like, and then just grilling me and then just kind of making fun of me like for not having pictures of certain people. Like, do you have a picture of Richard Simmons? No. At the time I didn't. I do now, but I didn't at the time. Asking me if I had pictures of David Lee Roth, and just I still don't have a picture of David Lee Roth. But and they were just kind of having fun with it. And then MCA waited until he could see his picture developing, and then he made a little quote on there, "Oi, what up?" And it was just great. And then they were like, you got to come to the concert. And I was like, no, I already have tickets. And it was one of those where you had to dress up. And they're like, you got to wear a suit. You got to be looking nice. And I was like, I'll be there. Actually, they're having two concerts. I went to both of them. But so, yeah, it was really a special time, a special moment, just running into them. And then my white whale then was I never had a picture of Mike D. And so I was... because he wasn't with them that day, and I'd seen him in concert a few times after that and just never had a chance to interact. And then when they came recently to do the Beastie Boys Square. They were doing some press beforehand at Sirius XM Radio, and so I went over there on my lunch break from work, and I happened to be there just as they were arriving, and so I didn't put it up on the wall, but it'll be up on the digital display, and so they were walking down, kind of up to the venue. And so I was able to like get in front of him and say, "Hey, can I take a photo?" And like, "Oh yeah, sure." So Mike D looked up, boom, and then Ad Rock's in the background in the same shot. So I was like, "Okay, this is great." And then Mike D signed it for me, and then they went in. And then so I was like, the next day I was like, maybe I can get a shot, an individual shot, but like the next day at that launch, it was so crazy that like couldn't
Hanging from the rafters.
Yeah.
Hanging from the rafters.
It was amazing though. That was a very cool event.
Once again, we're here at Brooklyn Film Camera. It's 20 years. It's a retrospective of Rick DeMint's work. Polaroid on Instagram. How's it feel on this side of the camera? You're always on the other side. Do you like this side?
This side's a little bit, it's a little bit more difficult, honestly, because on that side I'm just a little bit more of a ghost, I'm just like, I can jump out, the camera gets the attention. Here, it's me up here, it's just being the one, yeah.
Before I was very excited. I was like, maybe I'm the first person to really interview Rick and get with him, but now that the Beastie Boys beat me to it.
Yeah, they already asked me a lot of questions.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Now, I want to ask you a favor.
Sure.
I'm so jealous of your camera.
Okay.
Can you help me pick out a Polaroid?
Of course.
Can we do that tonight?
Yeah, let's go check it out.
All right, let's go shopping.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Rick, I see so many different Polaroids here.
Yeah.
What do I do?
So these are the new cameras.
Okay.
Right, so you have the Polaroid now. Mm-hmm. So these ones are the most modern version. Okay. So you're going to get film. The battery for these is in the camera,
okay,
whereas the battery on the old cameras is in the film packs.
Okay.
So with these, at least you have the advantage of always being charged. Mm-hmm. Some of the problems that we've had in the past with the old cartridges is that the battery dies, and then your film's no longer good.
Right.
So there was a time limit on when you could use it. So this at least gives you the advantage of that. And there's a lot of functionality on these where you can change, you can manipulate it before you take it. You can say, okay, I want this filter, I want to do this and that, and then you can say, oh, perfect, boom. And you can also interact with your phone, with your phone app. They have this new one here, the i2, which is brand new.
Oh, this looks fancy,
Yeah,
Rick.
this is very cool. This is a really cool new camera that they've got. So this is the cutting edge of the new Polaroids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's where everyone's going now.
Okay.
And it's got the huge lens, as you can see. And then they have the Polaroid Go, which is just tiny handheld, which is
it's tiny.
a little bit more fun, yeah.
That's fun.
And then as we talked about, the vintage cameras over on the back wall here.
Oh, let's go take a look at those.
That's where... so this one here, actually, the SX70 sonar is the one I've been using lately. I like the sonar because it's essentially an autofocus.
Okay.
You can just barely hold down the shutter and it will focus for you, and then you just full click and it'll take the picture. But yeah, the SX70s, you can see here they're from 1978, 1974. You have some of the older cameras, but these ones here at the store, the Brooklyn Film Camera, are all refurbished. So you know it's going to work. It's going to be good quality. Mm-hmm. Then you can get the 600 series, which is a nice camera. I was using that for a long time as well, and before I switched over to SX70. But you can't go wrong, really. There's a lot that you can do with any of these cameras, so I think it's worth just picking one that you like and going for it. I think for you, Harlan, you go with the solid gold.
That's a solid. That's a solid gold
it's
Polaroid.
Actually, gold Polaroid. Yeah, it's only $1,800.
Oh my God! Do they have a lease on that, or do you have to pay for it all at once?
No, you can do. I actually probably have to pay for it all at once. Yeah.
I love it. Once again, Rick, congratulations on 20 years of celebrity Polaroid photography. You are the guy. You are like the Mariano Rivera of Polaroid photography. Nobody else is doing what you're doing, and I love it. I'm here for it. 20 years. We're at Brooklyn Film Camera, and I think I definitely have to get one of these new Polaroids we just looked at.
Yeah, I think that's the best one for you.
Awesome. And I swear, I'm just going to take pictures of you on the red carpet.
I like that.
All right.
Because, yeah, if we're competing, it's going to be...
Yeah, no. We don't do that. We work together.
We do.
Okay, Polaroid on Instagram. It's Rick DeMint here on Soul Free. Once again, we are at the mothership for Polaroids. We are at Brooklyn Film Camera here in Williamsburg on Grand Street. Grand Street's a wonderful street. It really is.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I can't believe it. I'm so glad to be here. There's so many beautiful restaurants, so many amazing coffee shops.
Right.
Yeah, Alita right down the street. Here, just around the corner. Yeah, amazing spot. Yeah.
Right. And of course, if you're wondering who this incredibly tall person next to me is, this is Lucas. He's one of the fine people who runs this great establishment. And dude, talk to me about the Polaroid craze that's going on right now.
Sure. So, yeah, my name's Lucas Ospina. I'm the general manager of Brooklyn Film Camera. We are a partner with Polaroid Company, the newly reformed Polaroid Company as of a few years ago. And, yeah, the instant craze is truly real. We have a huge following. Everyone's excited to shoot analog film, just very generally, but especially there's both the nostalgic element for instant film, for physical media, and also people just excited about the newer Polaroid cameras and film that are coming out for the first time in a couple decades at this point. Yeah, really exciting, both for us as a business, great for us, but also for everyone who's just interested in shooting physical media. With Polaroid, you get like a real instant, immediate response from the camera that you shoot. It's
instant gratification.
Instant gratification. It's more than just, a cell phone picture. It's something really real that you can hold in your hand. It's a little bit abstract. It's a little bit immaterial, but at the same time, really real in your hands. You can keep it with you. You can put it in your pocket. You can put it in a photo album. So
yeah, 100%. I almost feel like it's a very similar vibe to the vinyl craze. That's I had a bunch of friends, and about maybe 5-6 years ago, all of a sudden we were completely back into vinyl, and I feel like it's just nice to. Yeah, it's that reminiscing. It's having something physical in your hand, and what's better than a Polaroid? An instant photo,
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I feel like the vinyl is kind of indexes the whole craze where, I think people are really used to new technologies at this point, and to a degree where they actually find a nostalgia, even if it's before the time where they were born. They're looking backwards into their parents' generation. They see that, up until the 90s, no one shot digital photos. There was only analog. There was only stuff like instant film. There's only stuff like 35 millimeter, 120, medium format, large format. So yeah, in an era where everything is very fleeting, things change at the turn of a dime or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
and I do love the retro feel. And I noticed obviously you're a very stylish dude. We do talk about sneakers on the show, and I couldn't help but notice you have OG Adidas Superstars on, which really lends to the whole vibe. We're going back. We're talking about vinyl. We're talking about the Polaroids. We're really talking about the 80s Run DMC. What was your sneaker growing up?
So I was a skateboarder growing up.
Okay.
So I always had Americas. I had Globe sneakers because I was skating and I was doing ollies and kickflips and whatever. But these particular sneakers, if you wouldn't, mind me digressing a little bit.
Please do.
So I love Brazilian music, and there's an album by this guy, Lo Borges, that came out in 1972. It's just a self-titled album, I believe, but it's called the Tennis album, and he has these sneakers on the cover. It's just a picture of these sneakers, maybe a high-top version of them, but they're just in the dirt somewhere, and it's one of my favorite albums of all time. So ever since I started getting into that album, I always wanted these sneakers.
This is a very big moment on Soul Free,
Okay.
because this is the first time the Adidas Superstar has ever been paired with a different musician than Run DMC.
Oh, really?
So this is a really big moment. It happened here at Brooklyn Film Camera. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this.
Of course. Thank you, Harlan. Yeah,
big.
appreciate it.
So we're going to buy some film, we're going to buy a camera, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun. My brother, thank you for the hospitality. Thank you for having us.
Thanks so much for being here.
You got it, my man.
All right.
Okay. It's been an amazing night here at Brooklyn Film Camera. I've got a brand new Polaroid in my bag. I can't wait to start snapping pictures just like Rick DeMint has for the last 20 years. Congratulations, Rick, on 20 years of celebrity Polaroid Photography. Check them out on Instagram at Portroid. Once again, thank you to the Drake Media Network for making tonight happen. And of course, all of our sponsors, our dear friends at Porsche of Huntington, Notorious Pink, Rose, Oconee Eyewear, Optics Eyewear, and of course, Hugo Boss. And check me out on the gram at the official Harlan and soulfreeradio.com. That's SOLE freeradio.com. And we'll see you real soon. Peace.